Hello and welcome to Depart Your Lounge. This is our opportunity to bring some destinations to you in this time of lockdown. Fortunately, I'm in a rather quiet office at the moment here in Melbourne, Victoria, where Captain's Choice is usually thriving with a number of staff creating wonderful itineraries, both domestically and internationally. I am happy to say that those staff are currently working from home rather than in the office. And we are still designing great itineraries, but of course, we're in lockdown. And to make the best time out of that, we're going to start featuring some destinations that we travel to and that are probably a little bit off the beaten track, or at least difficult to manage by yourself. Today, we're going to be looking at India. India is high on people's bucket list, if you like, to go to, but some people have reservations about traveling in India, the food, and even the amount of people that are there. Joe Taylor, one of our most popular tour managers, has travelled to India numerous times with Captain's Choice, both with the private jet and by way of private train. And I'd like to discover some more about her experiences as she joins me now live from Newcastle, I believe, and looking rather colourful there with the background, Joe.
Yeah, hi, Buzz. How are you?
Well, how are you surviving the lockdown?
I'm doing very well. I mean, I think I've got Melbourne weather up here. It's wet, it's cold, it's windy, and hence the reason why I've decided to brighten up my lounge room with some saris, and to keep myself occupied, I've decided to try and teach myself how to put a sari on.
Wow. There is a user guide. Fantastic user guide.
So far, I haven't succeeded. I definitely wouldn't be able to do a Bollywood dance wearing it without the fear of losing it.
Very good. Thank you. Well, Joe, I want to discuss India a little bit more in depth. Let's start with the Taj Mahal, that iconic photo of Lady Di in that one spot. Tell us about some of your experiences at the Taj Mahal.
I think the Taj Mahal has to be on everyone's bucket list, when they visit India. And, it's such an incredible experience. We get there early in the morning, so it's nice and quiet. The sun is coming up. It's got a perfect photo opportunity with the sunrise on the white marble. Our guides are fabulous, where they tell us or interpret the love story of the emperor, his love for his wife, the reason behind the building of the Taj. So I'm not quite sure if my husband would do that after I passed away, build such a monument, but he certainly did have that love. 20,000 labourers and painters and masons, and I just can't see that happening in mine. But it's such an incredible experience, and I think from your experience, you've been there overnight time with the moon.
I have. So if there is an opportunity and it is full moon, they do open it up so that you can capture some amazing photos, obviously under that full moonlight. But that is only during the full moon time. Okay. But something we can certainly look into when organising our trips to India. And of course, staying at the beautiful Oberoi Armoured Villas, the only property that actually has rooms overlooking the Taj Mahal.
That is a spectacular hotel. I mean, the whole structure of it, the architecture is amazing, but it's a little bit of a theatrical performance as you enter that hotel. And when the butlers take you to your room, they draw the curtains back, and there is the Taj Mahal, morning, noon and night, if you wish. So it is just exceptional.
It is, and so beautiful. Just to sit either in your room or on the patio at the bar or the cafe and just stare at its beauty. It is absolutely magnificent, isn't it? Joe, I mentioned in my introduction that people can be quite confronted by the amount of people in India. It is very, very busy, and it is difficult to get around. How have you found that experience?
It is. I mean, that first step for your first visit to India, I mean, imagine, a population that's many times over the population of Australia in a smaller space as well. And, you know, it's something that at first it can be confronting. Obviously, the poverty, it's not hidden. But, you know, by the time when we get on tour and we're visiting the historic sites, the palaces, the forts, the mosques, you're actually walking side by side by the locals. They're so proud of these monuments. They want to go and visit and learn. And, you know, you've got the colourful saris behind. Everyone's dressed in these beautiful colours, and all of a sudden that goes, you know, it falls behind, and you don't think of it that way. And you're walking side by side. The locals are just as interested in us as what we are in them, and it ends up being a fabulous experience. It's truly amazing with the colours.
It really is a cultural immersion, isn't it? And I struggle to think of a city that has a greater cultural flair than Varanasi and the Ganges. That is an absolute eye-opener, is it not?
It is. It's something that when I've visited, you know, I always like to take everyone for a little walk down the streets of Varanasi. Again, everyone's dressed in their beautiful saris, the colours, the food stalls, the markets, the clothing shops is just incredible. And another little bit of a cultural surprise is walking along the streets with some of the sacred cows that just roam the streets of Varanasi. So it's truly an experience. And of course, then when you're in Varanasi, you can't miss the Ganges. You know, we jump onto a boat and cruise down the Ganges. You know, you see the priests chanting at their artis, and it's just an experience that can be confronting for some because there's so many people, there's a lot of noise. So there's people on the embankments, you know, praying. There's people on the water. And I think one of the things that I love when we're on the Maharaja Express as one of our trips, that we see some of the staff from the train and they're bathing and cleansing in the Ganges as well. So, you know, it's just an experience for everyone to have. You know, and then sadly, you have the funerals that occur there on the riverbanks. We stay back from them, but it is still amazing to see the way that people, you know, do their services. So it's a lot of things to see. But I do believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we also get to go on the Ganges in the morning as well.
We do. We do give people options, as you know, Joe, and it's all about finding a comfort level for everyone. And you know, a lot of people see that area as a great photographic opportunity. Whilst we are very polite and request to take photos, there is some amazing colour and sights to be seen. And in the morning, with I guess the lower levels of pollution, you are going to get a number of great photos or better photos than you may get at that later part of the day. So we do give that photographic opportunity in the morning as well. Speaking of photographic opportunities, we do like to be in India during one of the many festivals that they do have. And you've got some great experiences with Holi. Let us know all about that.
Well, Holi, I mean, firstly, I had to research the Hindu religion, and it is pretty complex. So I did it the cheats way, you know, Hinduism for dummies. You know, it kind of gives you a brief outlook, and there's so many legends and things that, you know, you have to read into, of course, which is in depth. But if you just look at the brief summary of everything, you know, with Holi, it's the celebration of life after death, or the coming of spring after winter. So they kind of look at it as the evil winter and the colourful spring. And Holi begins with the Holika Dahan the night before. So it's a bonfire which rids everything of the evil sins, ready for the newness of spring. And then, of course, that is Holi itself the next day. And that's where we provided a white pajama, which is a local outfit, so you don't get your clothes dirty. We recommend that you stay with us within the confines of our hotel, but do it up ready for all the celebrations, because Out in the street, it can get a little bit excitable, but you're more than welcome to do it, to go out with the locals. But inside the safety of the palaces and the hotels, we get to throw all these colourful powders at one another, and it is just truly an amazing experience. And it just takes you back to your second childhood. So, it was just fabulous. And we have had the opportunity in Jodhpur, at the hotel there. The Maharaja still resides at that palace, and he actually joined us. He and his family joined us, and the Maharaja is throwing colours at us. We're throwing colours back at the Maharaja. So it was just fabulous. Just a great experience. I recommend.
Wonderful. It sounds wonderful. It really does. And whilst I'm not 100% sure whether our itineraries are there during Holi next year, I know one of our later journeys does take in Diwali, which is in October. So again, another festival. You mentioned the accommodation, Joe, just quickly in Jaipur. I think it's worth mentioning the standard of accommodation that is available in India. It is absolutely exquisite.
Well, we've mentioned the Oberoi collection, but also there's the Taj collection as well. And, they were built for the Maharajas. And honestly, you are staying in accommodation that has the amenities for a Maharaja, and also, the grounds, manicured grounds, peacocks walking through the grounds, everything that's there for you, saunas, spas, pools, beautiful restaurants, and staff that are just amazing. And, in Jaipur, the Rambagh Palace, absolutely superb. And of course, just to touch briefly on the Taj Lake Palace in Udaipur, it is just, your own hotel in the middle of Lake Piccolo.
It is amazing. The photos there are just always exquisite. It doesn't matter what angle you take them from. And like you say, the service is just as spectacular as some of the locations themselves. Joe, just a couple more things I want to touch on. Firstly, the food. A lot of people do get concerned about the Delhi belly, as it's called. We obviously, surprisingly, our tour doctors aren't kept as busy on our tours of India as one would think.
Well, I think everyone's got to be sensible. You go to the right places to eat, and Captain's Choice certainly provide that. I certainly wouldn't recommend going to some of the street markets. You just aren't quite sure, but that's like anywhere in the world. But we have some wonderful restaurants at the hotel, and we take you out to different restaurants out in the cities. And one of my favourite things, and what I recommend for those that are new to Indian food, is there's a dish called thali. And it simply means a plate. And on that plate, you get little bowls of different tastes of the food. So I know one of your favourites is palak paneer, which is spinach and what sort of cheese?
It's a cottage cheese.
Right. Yeah, so you can have that. You can have goat curry, fish curries, or other vegetarian dishes. If you don't like a particular small bowl, you can actually ask for it to be replenished by something that you do like. So, it's something that the food, some people think spicy and they don't want to eat it, but it's not as spicy as what you think. And there's certainly a variety of Western food available for where we go as well. So, if you're not interested in trying it, so be it. You can have a lamb chop, or you can have some smoked salmon or something like that.
The best of both worlds, so to speak. Joe, Captain's Choice in 2021, but predominantly even over the last 3 or 4 years, have discovered India in 2 different means. And when I say means, modes of transport. We might start with the elegant Maharaja Express, which I know you've travelled on several times. A beautiful way, your own luxurious train taking you from city to city. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Maharaja Express?
If you can just imagine a palace on wheels, really. It's just something that all the amenities are there. The cabins are extremely comfortable. Different varieties of cabins that you can choose from. The hospitality of the staff are truly amazing. I mean, it's like throughout all of India. The staff are brilliant and welcome you on board the train. do anything that you need to have done, so to speak. The restaurants are just truly amazing. And I think you were saying you saw a show the other day, Chef John from the Maharaja Express. I don't think you'll ever leave, but anything is at your beckon. So he's ready to cook you the Indian food like the thali that I mentioned, or dosa, a breakfast, or something Western. He's just there to please, and it's just one of the best ways to see the countryside of India as well.
Terrific. No, I did see it on commercial television, 7/2. So I'm not sure if there's a recording of that out there, but certainly if you Google the Maharaja Express, there'd be many episodes in various train documentaries where you could actually see the train. It looks spectacular. Of course, Joe, another way of Captain's Choice taking guests around India is with the private jet. In 2021, we'll be asking our guests to fly to Delhi using their preferred commercial airline. So for those, some may be lucky enough to use frequent flyer points or that kind of thing. But our jet will be based in Delhi, and it will do then a great big circle around India. 737 aircraft, just limited to 50 guests. So a beautiful sized group, and just travelling from one city to the next. I know you've seen how hectic those airports can be, but what a delight it is just to walk through them when you arrive. And likewise, when we depart a city, it's just a security screening, and on we hop onto our aircraft to the next stop. It makes it so easy, doesn't it?
It does. And you know what? You're not spending a huge amount of time, on a bus or a train. You're getting from point A to point B very quickly. So that gives you time to stay in our luxurious hotels or see the sights of India. And it just provides a little bit more diversity as well. The fact that, you're going from a regional area of the Rajasthan to the Bay of Bengal, Chennai. So, seeing the water and the coastline. So, it's something that it's a choice that you have to make, and that's a hard choice, or you do both.
Well, you can. They're very different in their own right, but you do see the spectacle that is India. Joe, just to leave us, or to leave a question with you, what do guests, I guess, love most about India when you've travelled with them?
Well, I think we've got to go back to the enormity of the buildings that you see, the Amber Fort in Jaipur, the Red Fort in Delhi, Taj Mahal, Gwalior Fort, the enormity of everything, the history, the vibrant colours that you see. And although, as we started this conversation with the feeling of being, it's a little bit more confronting, by the end of the trip, everyone just loves India, the locals, it's everyone's just feeling comfortable and so welcome and warm. So, the colours prove it all as well. It's just an incredible experience, and we'll never stop going back there, I don't think.
No, it's like I said, it's on many people's bucket lists. So if we can provide it for them, we certainly will. Joe, I thank you for your time. You've certainly given us some great feedback about India, and hopefully that encourages people to maybe learn a little bit more, do a bit of research about India. But rest assured that Captain's Choice looks after you incredibly well when we take you to India. Joe, as I mentioned, will no doubt probably go with our team to India again next year and many years to come, because we've all fallen in love with India, and we hope you do too one day, and may it be with Captain's Choice. So thank you for joining us today for this view of India, and we look forward to speaking to you again in the not too distant future. Joe, continue to keep safe, and we look forward to seeing you after lockdown has eased off. Thank you again.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.